hat es doch vermacht. Yes. Daardoor, my kleine.
What happened to that Yemi? Switch to unlit.
Because they're not supposed to have smartphones in yeshiva.
Yeah.
So whatever, I got him like in a basketball league. I have no idea what he told me exactly. Bottom line is in a basketball league. Baruch Hashem. So last night was practice. Yeah, but them boys, 9 to 10.
Could you no smartphone? Shaykhs?
Ever shaykhs, but when I get involved in they have a game against some yeshiva in Brooklyn next week, 2 weeks. They had practice last night until like 11. They had practice Sunday, told me. They have like 10 boys on the team. It's nice. They have the Uruvan Sparks or Uruvan something they're going to call themselves. Flames, because they're Shalet, for the Uruvan. Whatever, so they're getting names, t-shirts, Zachen.
Very nice.
I'm sure the nursing home will sponsor them. Is it true? Let me ask. They're looking for sponsorship. Just them to speak to you? Absolutely not.
So they want to wear that on their shirt.
Be embarrassed.
Was a funny question there.
Yeah.
Somebody says, what is the difference between Hasidus and who was the first one? And he said the Arizal, the Alter Rebbe, and Rav Nachman. So he said some people say that, I can't remember the first one. He said the Arizal wrote for Tzaddikim, the Alter Rebbe wrote for Beinanim, and Rav Nachman for Rishayim. He had the power to bring them out.
Uplift the island.
And what is the difference between these three kinds of Hasidus? It wasn't the answer.
No, seriously.
Smash of Jürgen. Morgen. Den ersten dort ist am... Hello? Good morning, Tatala. Wait a second. Sie fahren. Das ist die schon mal rein. Shui. Send the car. Yeah, you buy. Don't go to sleep. Get up.
Extended trip, huh? You have an extended trip? You have an extended trip?
3 weeks.
Oh, 3 weeks?
Jürgen. Sven's good live too? I'm sure when you stay here, most of
When? That's nice.
Got the Fukashas and the Schleck. Gas and Ocean. The Ritzen darfst du.
Yeah.
Kash Sosten. The Ritzen.
Yeah, it's okay. I live here.
Es geht daher.
I like to hear.
How long did you
Yeah.
stay yesterday? Sorry? How late did you stay?
How about you?
Me? I left a little earlier.
And my wife with me. She had a lot.
Morning.
How late did you go yesterday?
Want to know the story?
Yes.
Yes.
Right over
How late did you go yesterday? What time did they finish? Mary.
Welcome back.
Didn't have an opportunity to tell your brother, but my wife was there last night, and she is enamored with your brother, has his shiurim on constantly.
So she got to see him
Yours
live.
will be here on in. Near Hashem.
So she got this. That's nice. Okay. Yeah. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Okay, today we'll begin a new mimer, Be'ezer Hashem. It's really hard to go away from the last mimer about Toyu and Tikkun coming together in the place of Anoichi. But the only way forward to continue the mimer would be through silence and meditation, is Bainanus. That's the next step of the last mimer. Since the shir is usually made up of words, for good or for whatever, l'toiv l'mutav, so therefore we'll continue with a new mimer.
We need numbers also.
1, 2, 2. Thank you for the kelim, Rabbi Litzmer. 1, 2, 2. On top it says b'shalach, so it's this week's parsha. The mimer on the left column, Vayar Yisrael Esayad Hagdoilo, or Samach Aleph, column 4. It's a mimer from Tovkov Samach Vav. Tovkov Samach Vav would be 1806. Vayar Yisrael Esayad Hagdoilo Asher Asa Hashem b'Mitzrayim Vayiru Amas Hashem Vayaminu b'Hashem b'Moshe Avdoi. The words that are used are Yud Kei Vav Kei, and the way the Balatanya referred to that name was Havaya. Havaya is, of course, the letters of Hey and Vav and Yud and Hey, which is just a different configuration of the 4 original letters. So that's why the language here in the Maimon, Vayar Yisrael Sayod HaGdoil Asher Asa Havaya b'Mitzrayim, Vayiru Amas Havaya, Vayaminu b'Havaya b'Moshe Avdoi. The literal translation is, this is the scene immediately following the parting of the sea. The sea parts, the Jewish people, the Bnei Yisrael, cross through the sea. The Egyptians pursue them inside the sea, which has become dry land, and the water returns back to its original location obliterating all of the troops who came to pursue the Jews and re-enslave them. And the Jews walked through the dry land, which has been transformed from sea, with the water as a fortress from the right and on the left. And the pasuk concludes the story. This is right before the shir, right before they start singing. Vayar Yisrael, the Yisrael saw the great hand or the great arm of what Hashem has done in and to the Egyptians, and the nation feared. Vayiru, from the word yira, they were in awe. They experienced fear, or awe, reverence of Havaya, and they believed Vayaminu, and they believed in Havaya and in Moshe, his servant. And then right away is Az Yasher Moshe of Bnei Yisrael Sashir Azois. This is the end of chapter 14 of Exodus, and right away begins chapter 15, Perek Tesvav, Az Yasher Moshe of Bnei Yisrael, the song of Bnei Yisrael and Moshe at this awesome moment of history. Lahavin asks the Balatanya to understand, Lama hiktim b'chinas yira l'b'chinas amuna. Why does the pasuk introduce yira before amuna? You understand the question? Anybody understands the question? What's the question? Right. First it says vayiru, and it's what's bothering him? Favas nisht. What's wrong?
You have fear, something you don't believe in. You're not aware of.
Emuna, right? An emotion of yira is already it's an experience that I'm having vis-a-vis you. If I'm not sure that you are, I don't know who you are, or I'm not sure you exist, or I think you're completely different, so then obviously the whole emotion will be different, or there won't be an emotion b'chlal. Chayra, emuna precedes it all. Emuna means awareness, some type of awareness. It's called emuna awareness, but all emuna is an awareness. A very important idea.
But you just Nasa v'nishma, it's the same thing.
The Machzazai, that's the.
Nasa v'nishma, emuna.
I got it. It's all the same thing. Vayida is garnished. Vayaminu is garnished. You finally asked a shaila. I don't mean to attack, but what pshataka Nasa v'nishma? Nasa v'nishma, they said by Matan Torah. After all this, Nasa v'nishma is not pshat. But how did Nasa v'nishma happen? It's not pshat. God came to the Jewish people and said, by the way, I'm a good guy, and I have a religion to give you. Do you want to take it? They said, of course, no question. Nasa v'nishma happened on Har Sinai after Yetzias Mitzrayim, after the 10 Makkos, after Kriyas Yamsuf. There was already a profound relationship. In fact, the opening before Matan Torah is, what are the first words Hashem tells Moshe and Yisro? You have seen what I did for you in Mitzrayim. I've carried you on the wings of eagles, and now I want to enter into a covenant with you. Okay? So now the Jewish people tell him, you don't have to tell us what you expect. We're in. If it's you, we're in. You understand the difference? But I have to know something about you. If I don't know anything about you, so then what type of relationship can be developed? But here it says first vayiru. That means if there's a vayiru, there's already some emunah. I mean, I'm experiencing something towards you. But obviously the pasuk is saying here something else, that there's a vayaminu after vayiru. Did I answer your question? Hine ksiv vayikra havaya beis pamim. Then the answer to this is, we now go to another pasuk in Parshas Ki Sisa, which we say every morning in the Yud Gimel Midas Harachim, and the 13 attributes of compassion. Moshe says, "Show me your glory." It says, "Vayaver Hashem al panav." Right, Hashem passes before his face. Vayikra, and he calls out, Hashem kel racham v'chanon erech hapayim etc. So the expression is vayikra, havaya. V'aver Hashem al panav vayikra. Again, we say Hashem, but the word is yud kevavke. Havaya. Beis pa'amim, twice. Why twice? Why the same name twice? The question is actually asked in Masechta Rosh Hashanah, I think Daf Yud Ches. Why Havaya twice? You call somebody's name twice, either because they didn't hear you the first time, so you say it again, or emphasis, or sometimes lashon chiba, you know. So it's a term of affection, but it has to be explained in Torah. Why the same word twice? Vayikra, he called out Hashem. Havaya.
Moshe, Avram.
Moshe. Yeah. But it's a question. Because it's not the same. It's not a redundancy. The premise was that it's the same word repeated. It's not the same word. It's the same letters, but it's not the same word. What does it mean it's not the same word? There's two different concepts, two different realities when we say Havaya. Aleph, hu b'chinas Shem Havaya de Lasata. The first is in Svarim of Kabbalah, it's called Shem Havaya de Lasata and Shem Havaya de La'ela. Lasata in Aramaic means lower, and Leila is higher, like La'ela min kol berachas. Aleph hu b'chinas Shem Havaya de Lasata. There's Shem Havaya, which is the lower Havaya. When we say lower, we don't mean that it's low, as in low. It's not lofty. Lower means that relative to the higher Shem Havaya, it's one that expresses itself in something that is more tangible. Hamahava kol ha'olam is me'ayin liyash. There's the way we identify the word Havaya, Yud Kei Vav Kei, is also a word in Hebrew. Yehava, right? It comes from the word Hoya, Hoive, Yiyah. It's all the same etymology, which means isness. He was, Hoya, Hoive, he is, Yiyah, he will be, V'Hoya, Hashem. The word Hishavos, Mahava, it's all, Mahava means he brings into being, Hoya, he was, he is, he will be, he creates being. Isness, I-S-N-E-S-S. I know I made up a word, but I have no choice. Isness, in all forms, the past and the present and the future. It's that which brings forth, it brings into isness, into existence, all the worlds from nothing to something. This is Shem Havaya L'Sata, meaning it's Havaya the way he's identified and recognized via being, via existence. There is existence out there, at least so we think. There's existence in here. All olamus, which means all states of olamus, again, it says world, he uses always the word, all the worlds. So people right away, what all the worlds? All the worlds means every facet of existence. Any way you define existence is called a world. You could be 10 people sitting around the same table, they're living in 10 different worlds. We all know that. And in a very practical way. There could be 10 people sitting at an event, or at a shir, or at a bar mitzvah, or at a shava brachas. Each of them is living in a different world. This one is living in a very happy world, this one is living in a sad world, this one is living in an angry world. Olam is reality. It's your state of reality. Within one world, there's endless world. There's 7 billion humans, there's 7 billion worlds. And then there's also the world of the cockroach. You may not respect his world, but he also lives in a world. And in his consciousness, that's the world. You got your world, he got his world. And the verdict is not out yet. Who's right, by the way? The verdict is not out. Huh? Leich on the mullah. Yeah, Shlomo Melech gave good advice. Hang out with the ants. Hang out with the ants. You'll learn a lot more than sometimes when you hang out with people. You know, because they follow the program. They follow their DNA. They're not Mashiach. Right? You never heard a sheep say, I'd love to eat the ice cream, but I have a wedding next week. They have to look good in the pictures. Hay is hay. You want wheatgrass juice, is wheatgrass juice. You struggle, wheatgrass juice, cheesecake, etc. Cookies, huh?
There's no choice.
Okay, that's
That creates
fine, no problem. Huh? You told me about a cartoon with the whales. It's a cartoon with whales. There was a cartoon, you know how a fellow is trying to get whales to do interesting, acrobats to entertain people. So for every time the whale, jumps up and does one of its flips, they throw him a fish. Right? Somebody told me, you have to remind me.
One dolphin says to the other dolphin.
Dolphins, yeah.
One dolphin says to the other dolphin, watch this, I got him trained and get him to give me a fish now.
Right. The dolphin tells the other dolphin, watch how I get him to give me a fish. Understand? So the person is a dolphin, he's training. So when you say Kol ha'olamus, it's not, don't see it as some mystical, strange concept. Worlds. Yeah, there are a lot of worlds. But every facet of existence, its existence can be identified as an expression of Havaya, which is the source of being, existence. So who is God? What's Havaya? What's Havaya Lasata? God is the essence of isness. You understand why I need this word? He's the essence of whatever isness is. The perception of a cockroach, the perception of a spider, the perception of a hyena, the perception of a star, or the perception of you and I. The perception of me yesterday, the perception of me today. But perception of reality on any level, the most spiritual, the most physical, is essentially a manifestation of being, existence. There's somebody responsible for this. Now, we take this for granted. It just is. There's no is. Isness comes, everything is ayin. There's something, there's a presence, an infinite being that brings it forth liyesh. Every type of olam, every type of existence. I hope you understand what I'm saying, because these are very fundamental ideas in order to understand his Torah. You love that, right? I'm trying to make it personal. So you want to have to make it impersonal? I don't understand. I can also say, I can give you another 100 names. Kennst du reinhaken? Akudim, Nekudim, Brudim, Ak, Kav, Chut, Ein Soif, Zoh, Atik, Malchus, Lifnei, Tzimtzum, Rishimu. I mean, I know that. But every one of these names, which for most people are Chinese, really is reality. It's every one of these names is another perception of reality. You understand what I'm saying? They don't exist somewhere. You take a spaceship, and you go 100 million light years and you'll crash into Yetzirah. Then you'll do 100 billion light years, you'll crash into Bria. And then you'll do 1 zillion, 100 zillion light years and you'll crash into Atzilus and you'll melt. That's not how it works. All these olamas are here. It's states of consciousness. It's states of perception. Or to put it in the lashon of the Balatanya, in Ruchnius there's no makam. It's not about a space, a physical space. It's right here. It's right here. It's not a world in spatial terms. As ha'olam nasabelib. Ulahavin lashon me'ayin liyesh. To understand this more, let's understand the language me'ayin liyesh. From nothing to something. He said that this Havaya is the essence of being, introducing the transformation from ayin to yesh. The word ayin liyesh that's always brought in Svarim. The world is created from nothing to something. L'chayda, the pasuk says, Ki mimcha hakol. It's a pasuk in Divrei Hayamim Aleph. Ki mimcha hakol. From you is everything. So what do you mean may ayin liyesh? The world wasn't created from nothing to something. It was created from you. Why are you called ayin? It seems so disrespectful even and untrue. It was created from nothing to something. Mimcha hakol, from you. Why is it called may ayin liyesh? Ach b'yois, the pshat is as follows. Because when you talk about the essence of Hashem, so it has no erech. There's no erech of the olamus to him. What's pshat? There's no erech of the olamus to him. Each olam is a certain perception of reality. It's a certain way reality condenses itself in that olam. There's no erech between that olam, that way that reality is experienced. That's what a world is. A world is, again, a way of experiencing reality. how much of Atzmos, of the essence of God, of the essence of infinity is being experienced in the world, in any world. And what's the answer? The answer is in the experience of the world. There's ein lo erech. It's not reflecting in any way, even a glimmer of that. That's why we call it Shem Havaya. Havaya is God, but there's a word for it, Havaya. For the olam is to be, they must receive their energy through Havaya. Havaya is really a metaphor. And that's what he's teaching us. All these names that we use are just language to introduce a certain concept. And the concept is to understand the limits of reality. The worlds receive their existence, meaning the fact that I perceive existence in a certain way, and I exist in a certain way, that can only happen through what's called Shem Havaya. Dahainu aydei tzimtzum sho b'chinas Yud, v'achar kach hispashtu zivoi v'oire b'chinas Hey. Havaya is Yud and Hey and Vav and Hey. The first step is Yud, which is a condensed letter. Yud is the smallest letter. It's like a point. All the energy, so to speak, has to be condensed into a seminal point, a Yud. But from a little tiny point, you're not going to have an expansion. So from the Yud, it becomes a Hey, which a Hey is the Ispashtus, the expansion of Zivoi v'oiroi, of his rays. Ziv is like the ray, the glimmer, and the light. B'chinas Hey. Because that's the energy that constitutes existence. The energy that constitutes existence. And again, what do I mean by existence? Existence on any level of reality can only be, we say it's from Shem Havaya. What's that from Shem Havaya? Shem Havaya means how much of Atzmos, of the essence of Hashem, is being expressed and manifested in the consciousness and perception of that existence. So he says, Ein lo erech, like we say Shabbos morning, right? Ein aroich lecha. Erech means there's no erech. I don't know how to translate erech. Huh? Yeah. So the whole existence, we say, comes from Shem Havaya. What's about Shem Havaya? Shem Havaya means that the energy has to. Thank you. The energy must go through a state of tzimtzum. What do we mean a tzimtzum? A tremendous condensing, Yud, and then Hey, and then Vav, and then Hey. And all this allows then for reality to emerge as it emerges. So what is reality receiving? It's receiving from Yud Kei Vav Kei. Tzimtzum and then Hispashtus. Val zeh nemar ki hu tziva v'nivro. We say in the morning, Yahalalu Hashem Hashem, ki hu tziva v'nivro, in Tehillim, Psukei de Zimra, the end of Tehillim. They praise the Shem Havaya, ki hu tziva, v'hu koyal Shem Havaya, d'ksiv le'el minei. Yahalalu Hashem Hashem. V'Shem Hashem hu tziva loshen es kashrus.
I would think from the shape of the letters that you start with the Yud, and then from the Yud you go to the Vav, not the Hey, because the Hey is an expansion of the Vav.
That's the second Hey. There's the Hey that's an expansion of the Yud, and there's the Hey that's the expansion of the Vav.
God needs me to understand how He created it so much. I can create another one. But I'm just confused.
You're asking a good question. You're asking L'may nafka mina. Why are you giving me a headache? I didn't wake up early in the morning for headaches. What's wrong? Just tell me God created the world and that's it.
Teaching it's probably important, but I'm telling you
No, I know it's not personal, yeah. You're asking the most important question. L'may nafka mina. L'may nafka mina. What? Who needs all this information?
We don't need it. We don't need it. We want it.
Why?
There is a judgment about it.
Why do you
You don't even know it.
That's different. I can build a better computer.
You're right, it's a good question. If you don't have to build compute, that's what he says. If you don't have to build computers and you're just a customer and you have somebody you have a good engineer in the office, you don't have to know.
What I answered him is that no, we do want to know how to build a computer so I can build a better one. But by knowing this, we'll be able to build.
You're not building a world. You're not becoming God tomorrow.
Why not? Every person is an island coach.
Okay.
But not with these codes.
Oh,
So you're saying,
Who said?
so you're saying that you can
How you doing? Oh, the more is how do you do it?
The greater you are, the better world.
Also, you understand how it's built, you will appreciate it sometimes more than just.
Experience is part of it.
makes a huge difference.
Part of living. The more you experience,
For me, it makes
the more you appreciate the depth of it.
In order to better ourselves, we know how it is.
When I was born, the computer was 100 times less powerful, 1,000 times, and it was the size bigger than this room, much bigger.
Why you have to understand insurance, every policy, how it works and everything.
I have to get on this stuff, but I asked, okay, what's in here?
The Frexgit. The Frexgit. The Frexgit.
Isn't it part of knowing Hashem and increases your awareness about everything? Why stick your head in the sand?
The people learn this just go on their life, that's for sure.
Ah?
People who did learn it, I don't know why, but did change their, did just go on their lives.
But he's asking how, what?
Not to Shavek,
Ich verstehe. It was noted in the proper way. It was received as it was communicated. There was no barrier. So you can symptom, some say that. So you can symptom. But if there was a symptom between your question and my reception of it, then what would happen? There would be a breakdown in our relationship, right? You understand why it's relevant? No. If there would have been a symptom, you kept on justifying your question. You're not this, you're not that, it's not personal, you're not questioning, you know, and this. I got it. And if I wouldn't be able to hear your question, there would be a challenge in the relationship. MS? No? Huh? Okay, we'll still get back to it. Bli neder. Yahalalu Hashem ki hu tziva v'nivro. Who's the who? We say it every morning. Ki hu. He commanded v'nivro. And tziva is lashon eskashros. The word tziva in lashon kodesh, mitzvah, the Gemara says letzavos in brachas, letzavos lozat tzavsa v'chibur. A connection. Kihu tziva v'nivro means tziva lashon hiskashros. Not just he commanded and they were created. That's what we learn. Kihu tziva, like abracadabra kadu, which comes from Hebrew. Evra ka'adabera, right? You knew that. Abracadabra, evra ka'adabera. V'tziva, I commanded, he commands, v'nivro, boom, abra, it gets created as he says. Tziva from the word hiskashros. Kihu tziva v'nivro. Yud Kei Vav Kei has to connect. And it's the connection with Yud Kei Vav Kei that allows the Bria. There has to be a connection. It's the connection. Ki hu tziva. Lashon is conscious. V'nivru lashon nifel. It doesn't say he commanded and he created them. They were created. V'hinei k'moshe b'bchina zu. Tzarech liyas tzimtzum v'espashtos b'chinas shem havaya. Just as here, there has to be the yud and the hey, which is a tzimtzum, a condensement, a condensing, and then an expansion. Kain yesh b'chinas shem havaya de la'ela gamken. But there's also the name havaya, the higher shem havaya. And there's also yud, b'chinas tzimtzum, chuli, etc. V'hu b'chinas rotzen alla b'machshava liyas havaya de l'sata. And this is the rotzen, the desire, that all of machshava went up in thought that there should be the worlds. Kamoila mashal ba'adam, like way a person shekoidim shaitzim elachte mikayach alapoyel hoya adavrahu mitzur b'machshavta echum malasas. Before a person actualizes his work from potentiality into action, the whole reality is first formed in his mind. How to do it and what to do. Before it's actually done, there's first the imagination in my mind of the entire project. And here too, in your mind, you must go through the process of Yud and Hey and Vav and Hey before you're actually doing the work. Not only in the actual work is there the process of Yud and Hey and Vav and Hey, but also in your imagination and preparation beforehand. The conceptualization of it. This is known as the concealed world. It's not seen, it's not visible, it's not revealed like Yud Kei Vav Kei de L'Sata, just like the conceptualization of a reality is still embedded in my own mind and nobody would know about it. It's not conspicuous because it was not actualized in the outside world. It's still in the inside world. And that's why Parai, when he meets Moshe, his question is, Miu Havaya? Who is this Havaya? When he tells Hashem, when he says to Moshe, who is this Havaya? Who is he? He did not accept the concept of Shem Havaya de La'ela. Listen to a compliment. Ki bevadai Shem Havaya de L'Sata mahava kol ha'olam is yoda. There's no question that Parai, the Torah is so busy with him, he understood a thing or two about Shem Havaya de L'Sata. In other words, he knew God from existence. That he had no issue with. The Shem Havaya that's mahava the olam is that he knew.
That's not the same as Shem Elokim in terms of our understanding.
Perhaps there's a similarity, but he's talking about two inyanim in Havaya itself. Havaya de Leil, Havaya de L'Sat. Ubi Yitzias Mitzrayim ksiv. By Yitzias Mitzrayim says, Vaya Yisrael sayod agdoil ash asa Havaya b'Mitzrayim. Pirush, asher asa Havaya de Le'ela. The hand that Havaya de Le'ela performed, Aidei B'chinas Mitzrayim. Through Mitzrayim. Oh, de Le'salig bein Nahira. The expression of the Zohar is a log that doesn't catch on fire must be splintered. What's the connection? One cannot reach and touch Havaya de Leila without Mitzrayim, without the Yad HaGdola Shasa b'Mitzrayim, which means moving away from Ra, which we're going to translate as toxicity or negativity, which is always a concept of bittul and simtzum. I have to be able to move away from something, which is always saying goodbye to something. It's nullifying something. It's a form of simtzum. Lav koidem lahein, the no comes before the yes. You can't say the yes before there's a no.
He said the Basham from Zvot. You have to face your fears before
Also, yeah. Yudkei im shmi shin samachay. Zeh shmi la'olam, b'zeh zichri l'dor v'dor, shin mem yud. Right, is 350 together with Yudkei. This becomes shin samachay, which on the Shasa represents the 365 mitzvahs loisasa. Ubi sarusa de l'sata. It begins with the person's arousal. Shetzimtzim es atzmai liya sur meira. The person condenses himself to go away from Ra. In other words, I have to challenge my frivolousness. And it's always a form of tzimtzum because I have to withdraw. There's like withdrawal symptoms because all addictions are attractive. And I have to do what's called a tzimtzum. I have to like condense myself. And it's hard, it's scary. Nasa la'ela b'chinas yud hu b'chinas tzimtzum. This creates above a similar reciprocity, also a yud, which is tzimtzum. My surmeira, my tzimtzum creates the same above. Ubavasei toiv shobchinas ispashtos. In doing good, which represents expression, like giving charity, you generate above the same reality, which is like a mirror image, which is the hay. It's a mirror of you, Hashem tzilcha, like your shadow, which is the hay, is ispashtos. So the Yad HaGdoila, Asha Asa Havaya, the Gili of Havaya the Le'ela of Yud and Hey, comes through the Mitzrayim, through the Yud within the person, which is the tzimtzum in the person, the sur meirah, the stepping away, the condensing of self, of going away, the withdrawal of things that are attractive to me. I must go to a much deeper place. It's like a form of shrinking, which is what scares us. Sur meirah, like I'm uncomfortable here. That's the yud, and that creates a yud above, the gili of the yud above of the Havaya the Leila, and then there's the hey, which is Baseita. Very, very bekitzer here, very, very brief. It's hard to understand. Yeah. Well, let's learn another few lines here. When did they see this hand? Only when the sea split. The sea turned into dry land. Yam hubchinas alma diskasya. The Yam represents the hidden world. V'chol kol masha yesh bayabosha yesh bayam. V'kol masha yesh bayam yesh bayabosha. This is a Gemara in Chuvah. Gemara says, don't think that the sea or the ocean is just water. Whatever it has in dry land, you'll find under the bed of the water. And whatever is in the sea, you'll find on dry land. The difference is here it's covered, here it's not covered. Yabasha is P'chinas Alma Dizgali. Yabasha, dry land, is the revealed world, it's the sea and world. So Yam and Yabasha represent something. The Yam is the same world like the Yabasha. You go under the Yam, you go scuba diving, the snorkeling, you'll see how many types of creatures, animals, and of course fish, and plants, and shrubs. It's a whole universe. And we still don't know much of that universe. I believe I once read that there's 2 million creatures that live underwater that we have no idea about in terms of studying who they are, their chemistry, their nature. 2 million different types, different species that we still have not dealt with. It's an endless world, And most of our planet is made up of water, more than Yabosh, I think 71% or so. Right? Huh? 71%. Okay. But you look at it, what do you see? Only water. Where is the action? The action is teeming under the water. It's all concealed. On the outside, all you see is just one uniform bed of water. Yabasha is not like that. Dry land, you right away see the diversity. You look around, there's different peoples, different creatures, different animals, different plants. There's diamond, Shemeh, Chaim, Medavid, heaven, earth. All of its unique mix and diversity. This is a mashal, it's a metaphor for the spiritual difference of Alma Diskasya and Alma Dizgal. Alma Diskasya is the hidden world. You don't see what's under it. Alma Dizgalia is the expression. Well, Tanya said before, there is how my life is actualized in the vivid reality for me and others to see, but there is the way it's still conceptualized inside. And before it comes out, it first is inside. Alma Diskasya. There's no actualization without conceptualization. Now that may happen very fast in your life. But there's always all reality that anything I do or say or I'm involved in follows a certain conceptualization of reality and of myself that I then follow in Talmud Dizgali. When they saw that Hashem transformed the sea into dry land and he took the Yam, and suddenly the Yam parts. And what is it? It's Yabosh. And he says, there was no moisture left. What does he mean by this? In one of the Dayenos it says, Ilu haviranu esayam, Ilu karalanu esayam, v'loy haviranu b'soichai, becherova. He could have split the Yam, but not have us pass in dryness. Could have been a little muddy, right? But no, Heviranu Asayam Becherava. There was no lachluchas. It was mamish like a beautiful, huh? A highway. No bumps, no dents, no mud, garnished. That's what Lishum lachluchas. Pchinis yikavu hamayim v'sara hayabosha. This is a reenactment of day 2 of creation. I'm sorry, day 3 of creation. What happens on day 3? Everything is water. He says, Yikavu hamayim, let the waters gather and let dry land emerge. Kriyas Yamsuf was a reenactment of day 3. These are no small words, because everybody knows the Medrash. That when the Jews, when you passed the Yamsuf, right, and your baby started to cry, because he didn't like this highway. So what you do, you say, oh, there's a fig. You took off a fig, and you took off an apple, you took off an apple. You all know the Medrash, Kriyas Yamsuf was filled with trees and fruits. It's not just God split the sea. He also created a botanical garden. The question is like, where did the Chazal get this from? What's bothering them? And so, the moment you understand it's a reenactment of day 3, what happens on day 3 of creation, right? Dry land emerges, and what's the next scene? Day 3. Tache Aretz Desha Esav Mazriya Zera Eitz Pri Oitza Pri Lamina. So this is a reenactment of that. That's what he's saying. We'll soon see the relevance of this. When they saw that, you know what happens? Ha'eminu b'havaya. They had an emunah in Havaya. What's an emunah in Havaya? Sheyach Elias is galus pchinas Havaya de le'ela shel pchinas alma discuss. They realized that the Yam can open up. What's Pshat Kriyas Yamsuf? The Yam becomes dry land. It's not just a physical phenomenon. It's much more than that. It's that alma discussia can be experienced in alma disgalia. Havaya de le'ela. The higher Avaya, which is called Alma Iskasia, can emerge in the consciousness of Shem Avaya de Lasata, which is Alma Isgalia. That's what happens. Because the Yam parts and it becomes dry land, and it's completely dry. And what's dry land? Dry land is the open world, where the invisible suddenly becomes visible. That which is concealed underwater is now open. It's all open. This meant something, Kriyas Yamsuf, in other words, he's saying, wasn't like everything. Kriyas Yamsuf was a shear. Kriyas Yamsuf was a maimer. Kriyas Yamsuf was Kriyas Yamsuf. Kriyas Yamsuf was, they were taught something. The Torah, the way the Torah speaks about ideas is through stories. It's the story, they split the sea. Splitting the sea is an inner experience. Of course, there's the physical experience. But there was a lesson, there was an experience they had. It was almost like God gave them a lecture or opened up their minds to a new concept in reality. What's this new concept in reality? That Alma de Iskasia doesn't have to remain invisible. It can be revealed.
It was also
like the day 2 of creation in the beginning of time.
It was the Bnei Israel were experiencing the Bria.
Yeah.
It was
the Yam becoming Yabash.
They saw Bereshis.
Yeah. Vizeu.
Actually, it's much simpler. It's he brought them to the sea world, put the highway, put the aquarium on both sides. Now they see
the whole inner world.
Whales and sharks and everything.
They are in the depths of the aquarium they are amphibious. They become amphibious creatures, like the fish. Vizeu. Vayiru ames Hashem vayaminu ba'avaya. Now you have to understand the pasuk this way. Vayiru es havaya hainu avaya de l'sata alma d'izgalia. They feared Havaya. What's that? The lower Havaya. The revealed what shehu b'bchinas hasaga. Here there is comprehension. For shayich by loshin yira, there could be a concept of yira. What do I mean yira? Yira is boishas. A sense of awe, of shame, of respect, of reverence. K'mashal arayas hamelech. Somebody sees the king, and the glory, the greatness, causes the person a certain sense of reverence. Loses himself. That's what boishas means. It's like you feel inadequate, you feel ashamed. in a very positive sense. It's like you lose yourself in the experience. That's where? That's only Shem Havaya de Lasata. Vayiru. The Vedina could be Yira. Vayaminu Bavaya, who Havaya de La'ela, Alma de Iskasya. She'eno Niru Musig. Not seen and comprehended, v'lo shayach b'pchinas Yira kiyim Amunah. The word Yira can't apply here, only Amunah. So he asked, how can Amunah come after Yira? Amunah comes before Yira. This is Vayaminu Ba'avaya, Havaya de La'ela. After Kriyas Yamsuf, there was a year of Havaya de Lasata, which brought to Vayaminu of Havaya de La'ela.
Was your shear, therefore, was the experience, the instantaneous response?
The Shira
and
to the
Le'ela.
Amunah of Havaya de La'ela.
Wow. That's good.
You understand this? You believe it?
Amunah.
Amunah. What does even Amunah mean? It's Amunah can only come after Yira. This Amunah can only come after Yira. Havaya de La'ela, Alma discuss. I have to just bring it down a little bit. I'm just not sitting somewhere. And if Nuchem wants to know Lamai Nafkimina, let the sea not split. Let the sea not split. I'm fine with the sea being a sea. We'll go to the beach and look at it. We'll take a cruise. What do we need the sea to split? MS? Tagit the kasha. Chablib the kasha.
The cruise is not practical. Cruise is not practical. I have 600,000 men. Cruise take 2,000 people.
You say Kriyas Yamsuf was much more practical.
Much more practical.
The Le'ela is the experience of the neshama in the connection with Hashem. And
You feel
lower is the guf in its reality here. Is that a correct analogy?
Okay, we'll continue tomorrow.
Am I correct in my analogy?
He says Pare had no problem with Havaya de Lasata. What bothered him was
Please
Havaya de
pass the
La'ela.
sparm this way.
I don't know how much.
Job is for you to go and collect.
Carol said, I don't know how much.
Lo yadati es Havaya. V'gam es b'nei Yisrael lo yashaleach. So he says, what's lo yadati es Havaya? Havaya de La'ela. Havaya de Lasata. He says, who doesn't know? Look at DNA. Look at the DNA. You don't know Havaya de Lasata? It's not in Dion. You don't know Havaya de Lasata. Take a look at the world. What do you have? Sugar in it? Complete denial. Can't conceive. A person doesn't know Havaya de Lasata.
Carl's experience was only hard and real.
He can only experience a God creation. It's a big compliment he's giving Pada here. Pada is a his Pada is
He was a chief Silicon Valley officer. Today he would be a shtickle of cover.
what he's describing as Para's consciousness is for some people the highest level of consciousness.
Chief scientist.
He knows God from the world. Wow.
It's interesting how Havaya de La'ela, which is imagination, is also a creation. It's not just.
It's also Havaya. It's also Yud Kei Vav. Trouble you. Take up the marks. Sorry.
Let's keep that neat.
tired of